For some it's Wales's 4-1 thumping of England at Wrexham in 1980, others put beating Italy in front of 74,000 at the Millennium Stadium as number one. More still will always rank the stunning 3-1 Euro triumph over Belgium in Lille as the best of the lot. But for emotion, drama and historic sense of occasion, thousands reckon it's hard to look beyond Bordeaux. June 11, 2016, the day Wales finally announced themselves on the world stage. That 2-1 Euro opening triumph over Slovakia kick-started a fairy tale 4-week journey that was to become the greatest summer we have known, and finished with a semi-final, a homecoming parade, and the Wales national team the pride of a nation. Wales players celebrate their historic day with the fans by an extraordinary quirk of fate. It's Slovakia first up again this weekend as Ryan Giggs' new Wales class begin their Euro 2020 campaign with a crunch qualifier in Cardiff. Can it be the beginning of another unforgettable period? What better way to get you in the mood than to reflect upon that halcyon day 3 years ago? The build-up to the match. What made Bordeaux unique was that Wales hadn't appeared in a major finals for 58 years. Decades of watching the other home nations compete in World Cups or European Championships had to be endured. Welsh fans bewildered why teams containing such stellar talents as Giggs, Ian Rush, Mark Hughes and Neville Southall never made it. Suddenly, the torment was to be wiped away. This was Wales's moment in the sun, literally as well as metaphorically speaking, as 25,000 fans clad in red descended in bright sunshine upon the Nouveau Stade de Bordeaux to watch dramatic events unfold. Many were happy simply to be there, ambitions realized the moment the anthem was sung and the whistle blown. If they were being greedy, a first Welsh tournament goal since Terry Medwin would be nice. A win would be a beautiful bonus. Our report of an epic win, a future semi-final? Don't be silly, the noise that afternoon was so loud, the atmosphere so full of fervor, the anthem sung with such gusto, the Wales's players could have been forgiven for closing their eyes and thinking they were back home in Cardiff. Yet amidst the hope and anticipation, there was also trepidation. We had waited so many years for this, the last thing Wales needed was to flop with big stage nerves. There were one or two nagging doubts. Goalkeeping rock Wayne Hennessy succumbed to a last-minute back injury, which meant Danny Ward had to be suddenly thrust into action. The form wasn't great either. Wales had only beaten Andorra in their previous 6 games. Their other results included defeats to Ukraine and Bosnia, draws with Israel and Northern Ireland, and a 3-0 thumping in Sweden just 6 days before the Euros kicked off. However, Chris Coleman remained ice-cool. He was confident his players would peak when it mattered. How right he was. The anthem. Wales players sing the national anthem before the game against Slovakia. It was almost as if those 6 decades of frustration were wiped away just before kickoff, when the Welsh national anthem was sung perhaps like never before. Proud, passionate, to a person Welsh fans who took over more than half the stadium belted out every single word. It was raw Welsh emotion, the TV cameras even panning in on supporters moved to tears by the moment. It wasn't just in the stands where Welsh folk were overcome. Down on the pitch, overwhelmed by what they were hearing, the Wales players admitted their eyes too began welling up. These are the words of Aaron Ramsey. It was really spine-tingling hearing the anthem sung like that with so much passion. That was incredible. It was quite emotional. We had to pinch ourselves to stop the tears coming down. Wales fans show their incredible support in the stands. The fans have been absolutely superb, definitely helped us in certain games, and they managed to do that again. To experience what we experienced was fantastic. There were further impromptu renditions of the anthem during the game, an attempt to inspire the side further. It's hard to say for certain when this galvanizing trend first started, but it certainly became apparent during the 1-0 qualifying win over Belgium. Under siege, desperately trying to protect a 1-0 lead, Wales's players were almost out on their feet in Cardiff that day. The fans sensed it, belted out the anthem a cappella, and the players were lifted, given extra resolve to hang on. Some regarded that as Wales's greatest day. It was about to be eclipsed. The Ben Davies goal line clearance, Ben Davies' block, which set the tone for Wales's Euros amidst the joy of the 2-1 victory, and the headline-grabbing goals by Gareth Bale and Hal Robson-Kanu. It's easy to overlook the brilliant Ben Davies defending that proved just as crucial. His fifth-minute clearance off the line from Marek Hamsik, who had just drifted beyond Ashley Williams, James Chester and David Edwards, kind of defined Wales's whole approach to the Euros: give absolutely everything to the cause, and then somehow find a little bit more on top too. Davies had no right to get back and stop that goal. But he did. It was instinct. Who knows how the Euros would have panned out if he hadn't. This is how Davies reflected upon the moment in a recent foul video feature called Getting to Know. I remember I'd started the game well, had the ball a couple of times and played to Gareth Bale's feet. Gaz was a bit sloppy the first couple of times, pretty much unheard of for him, tried a few flicks, gave it away. He gave it away and Hamsik got played in by the edge of box. As players, we were so fired up, just needed that first tackle, that moment to get them into the game, and you could see Ash flies out and Hamsik thinks, okay, I'm going to go around him here if he's going to do that. Chester got wrong-footed and as soon as Ash got done I thought this doesn't feel right, and going back there was just instinct. It was just one of those things. Another angle of the incredible Ben Davies block: if I did that at Tottenham today they'd be furious. That's just their mindset, they hate their defenders going back. But at the time it was okay, just trying to read the game as well as you can. I got it right and just about got there, he acknowledged. Things could have gone so differently if we'd had to come from behind, a goal down after just 3 or 4 minutes against a Slovakia team who were a bit like us. If they went ahead in their qualifying campaign they'd just defend, make themselves a bit solid. Look, to be on the front foot in those games is everything. So yeah, to stop that was special. Asked for his memories of the day, FAO Chief Executive Jonathan Ford says simply, my standout one is of Ben clearing off the line, and how it could have gone wrong had that not happened. If that shot had gone in, who knows how the game, and tournament, would have panned out. That's why, at our FAO Awards that year, we made sure Ben's clearance won moment of the tournament. I made a point of presenting the trophy to Ben, wanted to do that myself because I knew it was so fundamental to everything else we achieved. Bale's goal. In celebration, Bale's strike hits the back of the net. Just 10 minutes had gone when Wales's talisman delivered a dipping free kick which flew into the Slovakian net, sent already ecstatic Welsh fans into sheer delirium and fan zones back home into unbridled joy. Bale's celebration was significant. He raced to halfway, accompanied by his teammates, to celebrate with the substitutes and Coleman's backroom team. Everyone has a part to play, explained Bale afterwards. He had worked with the coaching staff on free kick drills and this was a thank you to them, the culmination of the hard work on the training ground coming to fruition when it mattered most. Bale heads straight to the Wales bench and is mobbed by teammates. The equalizer. Things were going so well for Wales until Slovakia sent on Andre Duda in the 60th minute. Barely 60 seconds on he had equalized, squeezing his shot beyond Danny Ward. Slovakia had started to get on top. There were fears the match was swinging their way and Wales would lose. Then, Hal's winner Wales's Hal Robson-Kanu celebrates scoring his side's second goal. Anything Slovakia's super sub can do, Wales can do better. Hal Robson-Kanu didn't even have a club at the time. Sent on for Johnny Williams in the 71st minute, he latched onto a Ramsey through ball 9 minutes from time and produced the most epic scuffed goal in the history of football. If Robson-Kanu had struck the ball sweetly, it probably wouldn't have gone in. Instead, the miss hit wrong-footed Slovakian goalkeeper Matis Kozacic and kind of dribbled so beautifully into the net. Cue more Welsh delirium. You wait 58 years for a major finals goal and suddenly two come at once. The ball dropped to me in the box and I managed to get it in the corner, says Robson-Kanu. It wasn't the best finish but a finish nevertheless. That goal gave Robson-Kanu iconic status amongst Welsh fans, a reputation enhanced when he scored with that Cruyff turn against Belgium. Robso Kanu was never a great goal scorer, but he was a scorer of great goals for Wales. The chief executive story and aftermath. FAO boss Jonathan Ford. Since coming in as main man at the FAO, Jonathan Ford has successfully begun to modernize the governing body. Amongst his targets were to double the FAW's annual turnover. Check. Deliver a Champions League final to Wales. Check. Get Wales to a major finals. Check. The last one took a bit more time than I'd hoped for. We had a few setbacks on the way, says Ford. But yes, I was standing there in Bordeaux as a very proud man. I guess we will always look back on that summer because it was our first finals appearance for so many years. As the first, it will never be repeated in many ways. It was on our doorstep. The players finally got over the qualifying line, then there was the draw in Paris. Everything just built towards the Slovakia game. You may recall there had been issues with Russian fans in the south of France. We saw none of that. We were cocooned in a lovely little bubble, Welsh and Slovakian fans getting on with one another fine, having a whale of a time. How we reported the epic win at the time, then once we got to the ground it was simply electric. Everybody was talking about the first match. There was pressure upon us, yet we had the perfect start. Everybody partied well into the night, and rightly so. But if I'm honest, I always found it a bit difficult because we had to keep moving from one stage to the next and adrenaline just kicked in. After one of the games I went to a bar with my colleagues and tried to get a little drunk, but couldn't. The adrenaline of needing to get the job done was too strong. What the manager said, Chris Coleman, my proudest moment. Our players showed passion and courage to come back, incredible attitude and mentality. What the talisman said, Gareth Bale, it was like a home game. Our fans are the best in the world and fully got behind us. We gave them something to celebrate. A historic moment. The fans' story. 1. Dave Owens, regular attendee, Wales home and away. It was the culmination of dreams. The excitement couldn't have been more palpable. The colour, the noise and the thousands of Welsh football fans, a sea of red ebbing and flowing outside the Nouveau Stade de Bordeaux ahead of the match, the most beautiful sight. The epical and euphoric anthem reduced grown men to tears. Such was the emotional intensity of the occasion. Bale's goal was the release, the precise moment. The pain, the frustration and the agony of years of underachievement and near misses dissipated into the French air. Nothing else mattered except we had seen Wales score at a major international tournament. A rather inebriated Dave after the win. For most of us that would have been enough, except it wasn't, of course. We wanted to see Wales win, too. In the 81st minute up stepped Hal Robson Kanu and his scuffed goal. It wasn't pretty, but it was the most perfect moment of absolute mayhem as his ankle steered the ball into the net. The after-party in Bordeaux was bacchanalian in excess on a hitherto unheralded scale. The drunkest I have been. The hangover was more than worth it. The fan story. 2. Professor Laura McAllister, ex-Wales international, sits in UEFA. Welsh sport fanatic Laura McAllister, centre, having fun in France ahead of the Slovakia game. We travelled to Bordeaux from Cardiff in an old camper van, which actually didn't make it back to Wales, but that's another story. 3 adults, plus our 2-year-old daughter. So many significant memories, but ones that stand out were pre-match beer-fueled dancing outside a bar with some wonderful Spanish fans, discussing Marek Hamšík's technical skills with an elderly Slovakian. And the tram up there with bewildered French shoppers wondering what the heck was going on, with red-shirted hordes banging the windows all the way up to the stadium. Then the game. In many respects, it should have been an anticlimax after seemingly waiting to see Wales in a major finals. But it wasn't. From the anthem, any normal person surely shed a tear or two then. I know we did. Then the Bale goal, then the Ben clearance, then the Hal scuff, then the final whistle. Not only had we got to a finals, I'd been there for it and we'd won, and it was England next. Time to head back to the campsite for some beers. How gigs? Wales compare it Slovakia again. First up for Euro 2020, and gigs has some pretty big boots to fill. Standing in Wales is where the Slovakians, Croatia, Hungary and Azerbaijan, the latter pair desperate to qualify as they are amongst the 12 co-hosts for the finals. Defensively today Wales are more of a worry, with Ashley Williams and Neil Taylor not the force they were, while James Chester and Joe Allen have dipped out of the Premier League. But further forward, this Wales side has more potency. Bale may not be quite the formidable figure he was in the Euros, but he's still brilliant. Ramsey is still there to pull the strings, while the likes of David Brooks and Harry Wilson offer a new dimension. Giggs is also developing a plethora of gifted Welsh youngsters, including Ben Woodburn, Ethan Ampadu and Rabbi Matondo, who will each impact the campaign. Meeting Hal Robson-Kanu, definitely not your average footballer. What Slovakia are like Wales, they have had mixed results post the Euros. Slovakia finished runners-up in England's World Cup group, but were the one unfortunate team to miss out on reaching the playoffs. They began this campaign with a 2-0 win over Hungary, so head to Cardiff, confident. Their captain Martin Skrtel quit international football last month, and there were suggestions midfield talisman Hamsik would go with him. But despite leaving Napoli for Chinese club Dalian Yifeng, Hamsik has remained with Slovakia and will captain the team on Sunday. Marek Hamsik what Wales' current class say about then and today. Ryan Giggs, it was a tough game in 2016. I think Hamsik had a great chance in the first couple of minutes, and he is a talented player. They have had 2 or 3 retiring but are a good team and probably the nearest rivals to us, so Sunday is a big game. Connor Roberts, I was watching that game on TV and cheering them on like every other fan. Every goal, every win, and every time we took that little step further we were saying, could it be? The players did the country proud, and hopefully I can have the same impact as a Wales player today. Our job is to create more memories. David Brooks, I was watching at home in Warrington. The players coming in since who have not had a taste for it want that, and the ones who have been there and done that want to get there again. It is a nice mix. So, is another Euro dream on? Ryan Giggs has perhaps been afforded the biggest honeymoon period of any Wales manager, with 9 matches and a full year before the real business of Euro qualifiers kick in. But the spotlight will fall upon him for Slovakia and beyond. Giggs is an ultra-professional. He has been increasing standards of excellence behind the scenes. The key is transforming that into impressive Euro results. Wales have a fabulous and fluid front four of Bale, Ramsey, Brooks and Wilson, a quartet who offer a mix of panache, power and genuine international goal threat. It is what happens at the other end of the field, however, that holds the key. In reaching Euro 2016, Wales kept 7 clean sheets and had Premier League defenders in Ashley Williams, Ben Davies, James Chester and Neil Taylor. Giggs doesn't have such strength and needs Chris Metham to develop, with Bournemouth and Chester back in the top flight with Aston Villa. Keep it tight at the back and Wales have the firepower to progress. Whether they can do the former, only time will tell. But Welsh fans have every right to dream. Just remember Bordeaux, that was just the start.